Today on Larissa's Kitchen, we're going to be making tart cherry pie. Now, I don't like sweet cherry pie, and that's the kind of pie filling you can buy, so we'll be making our own pie filling. It's only a few ingredients, only takes a few minutes, but it makes the pie taste wonderful. Okay, so first off, we need to start with two 9-inch pie crusts, and I go ahead and just buy the pre-made, pre-rolled pie crusts. They're much easier. You need an 8-inch pie plate. I use a deep dish pie plate, I like that best. That would just be for the pie. All right, for the filling, we will need two 14.5-ounce cans of tart cherry pie with their liquid, and that will all go in the pan. About a cup of granulated sugar, maybe a little bit less. About a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. About a tablespoon of lime juice. It has a nice tartness to it. And then for our flavoring, we use almond extract. I'll also be putting in a pinch or so of salt. All right, the first thing we need to do is unroll our pie crusts, our bottom pie crust. Now, I really like these rolled pie crusts. They don't have any creases in them, and that means that one side is not actually longer than the other, which does happen in the pie crusts that are folded. So first, we're going to go ahead and just get this pushed down into our pie plate as best as you can. You're going to have some creases, but you want to get them as smooth as you possibly can. All right, we're going to get started on our filling here. So we're going to go ahead and pour in our 2 cans of cherries. All of our sugar, the lime juice, and the extract, a little bit of salt, and all of the cornstarch. All right, and we're just going to give this a little bit of stir, and then I'll go ahead and turn on the heat, and we'll let this filling come up to temperature. Now, I do not like to let my filling thicken all the way. I prefer to have my filling a little bit loose so that it can actually absorb down into the bottom pie crust and give the bottom pie crust a little bit of cherry flavoring into it. So I'm not going to heat this all the way until it's jelly. Now, if you like your pie crusts, if you like your pies to have that jelly filling, you would just go ahead and heat this all the way until it boils, and then this will thicken up, and then you can pour that into your pie crust. All right, I'm going to give this a test. I don't want it to get too hot because I don't want it to turn into jelly, and I'm just going to use my finger. Okay, that's pretty warm. It's not getting close to boiling yet, so I can still stick my finger. All right, I'm going to test it again here. Yeah, that's getting pretty hot. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. Now, I have my stove set to 375. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the convection oven just to get the airflow in there going. All right, we're going to take this over and put it in the pie crust, and we'll get the top crust on, and then this will go in the oven. Okay, so in order not to splash, I just pour this over the spoon. And you'll see that my pie plate is actually sitting in a jelly roll pan. That's to kind of keep the, should there be any spillover or boil over, it keeps the mess contained. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and roll out our top pie crust, and then I always like to use the cookie cutters to make a design in mine. All right, in honor of Valentine's Day, I'm going to be using a double heart. And this is basically in lieu of slashing your pie crust. So we'll just do this. All right, that's good. And then I'm going to lift the pie crust away from this. We'll eventually put that back on. And we're going to go ahead and just put this over here on top of our pie plate. And now we will fold in our top pie crusts. Okay, and I'm just crimping this just so it stays closed. And then we will go ahead and put our design back on, but a little bit off to one side. We can get that on here. We'll just use a little bit of cream, which we'll eventually be putting all over this thing. So put a little bit of cream on here just to help it stick. And we'll just offset our double hearts. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and brush the top of this with cream. I know a lot of you like to use other stuff. I think cream makes this crust look absolutely beautiful. So this is heavy cream, and we will also be sprinkling just plain white sugar on here to give it a little bit of shininess. And it doesn't matter if a little bit of the cherry pie filling gets on top. The whole thing is just going to be really pretty. Okay, and we also want to make sure that we brush a little bit on our hearts, because we are going to be sprinkling some colored sugar on our hearts to make this look gorgeous. Now I want to make sure that I get the crust itself completely covered. Okay. And now just plain old white granulated sugar is going to go on here. So we'll sprinkle that on top. Okay, that's good. It's probably about a teaspoon. Now we have to be careful. I'm going to do one of these hearts pink. Okay, and one of these hearts red. Okay, I am just putting a little bit of aluminum foil around the outside of this pie because I don't want the outside crust to get too done before the inside gets done, before the filling gets completely done. Okay, so this is very, very loose and wiggly, not like a pie crust that is kind of gelatinized. So I need to be very careful about getting this into my oven. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set the timer for 25 minutes at 375. Then after that timer goes off, we're going to take the aluminum foil off the pie, turn the oven down to 350, and bake it for another 25 minutes. Okay, the timer has gone off on our 25 minutes, and I'm going to get this off of here. Okay, I'm going to turn the oven down and set the timer for another 25 minutes. Okay, our timer has gone off for that second 25 minutes. And, alright, our pie is not done yet. It's still kind of loose on top, so I can tell, I can see through the slashes. So we're going to put this in for another 5 minutes and check it again then. Okay, the timer has gone off on our additional 5 minutes, and yes, this looks spectacular. Okay, so the filling is a little bit set. You can see that on the inside. So we're going to go ahead. It's still kind of wiggly. It's very, very hot. It's, of course, 350 degrees. So we're going to go ahead and just put this over on our cooling rack. And then this is going to sit and cool until we're ready to eat it after dinner. Now, I recommend at least 3 hours cooling time. Hey, now comes for the moment of truth. We're getting ready to taste this delicious cherry pie. Now, as you can see, my bottom pie crust has a lot of nice cherry filling soaked into it, which is how I like my cherry pie best. So let's give it a taste here. This is so nice and tart. I love it so much.